Es ist so. Wir leben auf zu großem Fuß. Unser Wirtschaftssystem, das auf die industrielle Revolution zurückgeht, befindet sich auf Kollisionskurs mit dem Belastungsgrenzen der Erde. Müll? Für die Natur nichts weiter als ein Fremdwort. Während die Sonne die nötige Energie liefert, hält die Natur sämtliche Ressourcen und Nährstoffe in einem Kreislauf. Hier greift eine Hand in die andere.
Circle, so one hand works together with the other. If plant nourishes the earth, animals feed on the plants and then they become nutrients themselves for our soil. With the predominant linear economic system, us, the humans, are in a contradiction to this circular economy or to the circle. Vital to the motto, take, make, waste, we avail ourselves of the resources of the planet and process them so that become multi-use but rather volatile products. The new smartphone is about to be used, so we throw away the old one. And whereas the coffee machine comes to the end of its life, no problem, it will be replaced rather quickly. With our thoughtless consumption, we eat away all the resources that are not infinite. But that's not enough. This very convenient way of consumism also leads to the production of giant volumes of tons of harmful waste. And this is felt by our planet. Rather the contrary, ecosystems of the Earth show the first signs of a serious stress. Climate change and biodiversity loss are just some to be mentioned. So it's self-explanatory that our way, the way of linear economy, is many things, but by no means sustainable. One alternative is indispensable. So why don't we just take the example of nature? Instead of producing giant volumes of waste to burn them in a very harmful way and with this destroying valuable resources, it seems to make much more sense to keep the raw materials in the cycle. And this is the principle of circular economy. So what does it mean for us? It means that we need to devise strategies in order to repair products, in order to make them recyclable and reusable. Goods could be devised and designed in such a way so that the elements they're made of are either compostable or can be transformed and can be led back into new production cycles. Products would, at the end of their lifetime, not end as waste, but become a resource themselves. It is practical, handy, and it's totally favorable for the environment. So it just seems to make sense to think about possibility that might prolong the lifespan of products. Let's now remember the old smartphone. Was it really due to be thrown in the trash bin, or maybe the repair was just too awkward or too costly? How would you blame somebody if it makes more sense financially to sell a new one to end than to mend? But if we design technical products in such a way that are more sustainable, can be repaired in easier fashion, the idea would be different. And of course, the continuous need for resources could be shrunk, and we could save the planet. Sounds like music of the future, but it isn't. Many companies are setting the way up, paving the way for future-oriented economic models, but this is not enough in itself. The principle to produce goods, to use them, and then throw them away keeps to be enshrined, deeply enshrined in our behavior, and is found in various industries, in numerous industries. To create an added value, to see an added value as a basis for the products of tomorrow, this is rather an abstract idea for many people. It's an idea that we jointly could lead to a common understanding, and we have to do that. Circular Valley offers the right platform. It is a place where people gather and strive to find solutions in order to lower emissions and to close the gaps of loopholes and of circular systems. But this is the only way to save the climate, environment, resources, and with this, how we can protect our planet on the long run.
Ja, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, was für ein Glück, dass wir einen Filmstudiengang an der Uni Wuppertal haben und der uns diesen wunderbaren Film tatsächlich bezogen auf das Thema Circular Economy, Circular Valley gemacht hat. Wir werden nachher noch einen sehen und wir werden auch mit den Initiatoren sprechen können. Das ist ein Beispiel für alles das, was uns so zugetragen wird, ja, wo wir einfach sehr dankbar sind, dass Sie uns unterstützen.
So, and we are really grateful that you support us, and gratefulness is actually the word, the buzzword. Thanks, we are so grateful that you're all here. We had to start on time because this is when the live stream was initiated. We know that some people still are having difficulties to find a parking place. So I would now like to welcome our keynote speakers of today, Mr. State Secretary Dr. Hase, Dr. Felling, Mr. Aldrich of Armenia, our Bundestags representative Jan Helling, and they would have deserved to be mentioned with their name. Please allow me some patience, some comprehension. This would go beyond the limits of these 120 minutes. So those who have given us massive support in the court that would slide with their full name, and this is what Circular Valley stands for. This is what makes Circular Valley special, that we do not only get financial support, which is indispensable, but that your companies and you personally are taking such a stance for it. We are really grateful for that. And now, the next 120 minutes, we try to be entertaining and interesting for you. I allow myself to speak German. We will have some English passengers now. We do it as it is requested, so all the speakers will speak in their mother tongue. So if you need translation and if you need the devices, please just raise your hand. We will bring them along for you. And other than that, I would just like to start with a warm welcome of our startups. We have 13 of them. They come from all places of the world, reaching from Singapore to Silicon Valley. They are represented in all parts of the world. They will pitch their business ideas, and I don't want to anticipate anything. And now I would actually leave the virtual floor to our patron, Mona Neubauer, who regrets very much not to be able to be here in presence, but she would like to. Dear startups, dear founders, dear supporters of the Circular Valley. Now it is already 4 months ago that we met the last time in Wuppertal for the Circular Valley Forum. So I can only remember the fantastic impressions of this premiere. A lot has happened since then. You startups, you have come to the Circular Valley and to work on your circular products, processes and business models. I hope here in the regions you were able to experience what I keep experiencing, the bundled power of scientists, academia and civilian society, the bundled power of many an actor who actually co-design the transformation. It is an incredibly important factor for our joint path towards climate neutrality, lightness of raw materials and sustainability. We need creative ideas and a lot of courage in order to come from a linear to a circular economy. To this end, we need precisely products that are designed in such a way that again and again they are fed into a new material cycles. We need functioning business models that actually enable circular economy, use instead of processing, a business platform that enable products to have a second, third and fourth life, to put our economic life head over heels, to bring it from the line into a circle. That is the task that the Circular Valley takes on. And you can see the potential that is gathered here. You can see that by means of many impressive examples. I am really unhappy that I cannot be here in presence in Wuppertal today. I'm sure that you will have a fantastic demo day. I wish to all of you inspiring presentations, and so that you can devise further creative solutions. I'm looking forward to hear much more and see a lot of you, much more from you. Heartfelt greetings to Wuppertal.
So sieht es aus.
Now, that's what it's like. This is what it looks like if you put all things into the incineration plants, and it leaves the incineration plants in the form of gas, but what remains is metal scrap. So that could be the wheels and the rims of cars or heating radiators. And we burn too many things here in our region. And this wouldn't have to be that way, but of course you can understand it. It's understandable because it's the task of the industry to produce things and to sell them. and the industrial waste are a necessary evil. They want somebody to take clean care of it, they want to avoid scandals, but this is nothing that belongs to the core business of the companies. There are only few companies that actually dispose scrap and waste that are the disposal company. But the good news is that the waste of one company is the entrance material of the other company. If you find exactly the right partner that has for you what you need, it's just like eBay. As long as you don't have anyone who needs a bicycle, the bicycle that you don't want to dispose is waste. But once you have found the person who needs this, then it becomes an added value, and it's a valuable resource. And that's like the idea that stands behind the eBay of waste, so to speak, that we try to transpose to economy what we see in our daily lives. And to this end, we will see 3 fantastic pictures that deal with exactly these questions. I would like to welcome David Matterster from Circle on stage. David comes from Austria, from Vienna, and with Circle you are building up a big European-wide platform for the mediation of waste streams from company to company. The floor is yours. The stage is yours, David, actually.
Hello. I'm David. I'm partner in Circle and responsible for the German-speaking countries. Before I start explaining you what we do in Circle, I would like to show you one number. Every single year, over 20 billion tons of waste are generated worldwide and not recycled or reused. At Circle, we think that waste is actually just poorly managed secondary raw material. And we believe by increasing transparency within the waste market, we are able to decrease this number significantly. We are currently Europe's biggest marketplace for secondary industrial raw materials. We provide you access to over 18,000 companies and their demands and supplies. This enabled us, in average every 6 months, to match over 3,000 different material streams, which are recycled and reused. We do this for all kinds of materials: plastic, wood, metal, glass, but also industrial sludges, wastewater, dust, and many more. This enables our customers to save costs, waste management costs, because they're in direct contact with their most suitable partner, save CO2, and probably most importantly, save primary raw materials. As I said, we are active in whole Europe. This means we are able to match your demands and supplies across borders. We also have 8 offices, which enables us to work together with our customers locally, on site, and also on national topics. For example, end-of-waste criteria is something like this, which comes up quite often. For more complex matters, we also offer consulting services. By now, we have a pretty good expertise knowing which kind of waste is generated in certain industries, and also which industries are actually able to reprocess those materials. We know their value, their quantity, their quality. And so we are able, for example, to offer zero waste concepts to companies like Skoda or also Siemens. Or also we can offer sourcing strategies like we did with Lindner. So if you want to find the best solution for your industrial waste materials as well, I would be happy if Circle can be of service for you too. Thank you.
Wunderbar. Ganz herzlichen Dank, David.
Well, thanks very much, David. We stay a little while here. We stay with this topic, and the next topic, the next party I may welcome is Daniel Brunovich. He's an American, but he's based in Heidelberg, and for more than 20 years he has been dealing with this topic. And he has a veritable number of fighters around himself, and it is about the auctioning of waste. Daniel, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see you here. My name is Daniel Brunovich, and I am founder and CEO of ClickWaste. I'm a studied geologist, and before I got into the waste industry, I was in the gemstone business. Being a geologist, of course, I love gemstones, ruby in particular. So one day I hopped a plane to Myanmar, to Rubyland, and this is what I bought. Doesn't look that precious. As a matter of fact, when first discovered, these rubies from the Mangshu district, they had no value. They were considered as waste. Not until some experts from Thailand found a method how to treat these rubies. Et voila, that's what they look like after treatment and being cut. That's turning waste to value. Talking about waste, every waste has a value. The European market for commercial waste is about 200 billion euros per year. And despite all the efforts from government and industry, recycling quotas are low and resources are lost. Too much waste just gets incinerated, is landfilled, or is simply exported because the value of the waste is not seen. But how to estimate the value of a waste? Well, best is ask a lot of people. Best way to ask is to start an auction. It's just like when you sell your Picasso. You don't go to your local art shop, you go to the Sotheby's. And so it will be in the near future. Waste owners will go to, waste owners will go to ClickWaste, start an auction, because with just one click, you can reach out to hundreds, if not thousands, of companies interested in your waste materials, and you will find the true value of your waste. Because we are building Europe's first auction platform for waste and recyclables. This is how it works, 4 easy steps. 1, waste owner starts an auction on the platform. 2, the ClickWaste algorithm matches buyer and seller and sends auction notification. 3, buyer submits a bid. And 4, contract is awarded to the best bid. This is sort of what the product is going to look like. All the information is at your fingertips. You can have images and videos of the material. You can download chemical data sheets. You can order specimens. You even have an automatic bidding agent. You don't even have to be in the office to put a bill. This is a team, Andreas, Axel, Daniel, me. Together we have decades of expertise in the software industry and in the recycling industry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I could show you the impact that ClickWaste will have in the industry. We are looking for partners to help us reach our vision, heading toward a more circular economy and turning more waste to value. Thank you.
I don't know how you feel about it, but I think this example is so fascinating to have those rubies with their black core and are basically without a value, but somebody knows how you can attach a value to them, how to cut them, and what was rather nondescript is something, an object that is valuable. Now we come to the last and third startup that deals with mediation of waste streams. And here, this is probably the biggest problem that is in the discussion today, which is the littering because of plastics. I'm very happy to receive Laila El Abbasi from Paris in order to introduce MikaCycle to us. Laila.
Plastic pollution in waterways and ocean will double by 2030, whereas the global recycling rate is under 12% globally. If we want to meet the legislation target by 2025, we need to move 135 million metric tons in the recycling system for only the PET polymer. And the challenges in meeting this growth are primarily in the lack of collection and sorting technique, matching the demand and the supply to increase transparency, and lack of recycling infrastructure. Hi, my name is Najla. I'm co-founder of MikaCycle, and our goal is to increase the plastic recycling rate and bridge the gap between the demand and the supply. So we started addressing this issue by connecting the plastic recycling market. So we talk about aggregators, recyclers, traders, buyers, and manufacturers around the trading platform for only the recyclable and the recycled plastic that is currently active and connecting over 350 businesses, over 370 offers. But our aim, actually, is to be able to close the plastic loop by adding to our existing services, trading platform and managing the logistics, the collection, the sorting and recycling through in-country plastic recovery program, and leveraging on the power of blockchain, AI, and Internet of Things to track and ensure compliance, transparency, and authenticity in the sourcing of ethical raw material. Our business model relies on 4 streams of revenue. So for the existing services, we take a commission on the transaction value based on the level of services we are offering. And our next step would be to sell our social plastic through in-country plastic recovery program with the first pilot in Kenya, and release and sell out of this program plastic credit, collection and recycling plastic credit for any businesses looking to reduce their plastic footprint. So this in-country plastic recovery program comes with an added social impact of supporting the informal waste sectors, and especially women, because they are extremely marginalized and not enough recognized for their contribution. So we aim to connect them to the markets with a better working condition, as well as resources that support childcare, education, and long-term financial management. Our team is multicultural and with decades of experience in plastic recycling, environmental and citizen science, and supply chain. And we all come together to solve the one common global issue that is the plastic pollution. So I would like to close by saying that the circular economy solutions are really critical for the sustainable growth and climate action. If you think we are the right solution for closing the plastic loop, please come and talk to us. Thank you.
Well, we can only wish you all this success in the world, because imagining that 150 million of tons of plastics end in the ocean, being that microplastics in our food chain is quite disgusting. What you can see behind me is a huge mountain. When you go from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, it's an artificial hill made of construction waste. Right next to the flagpole, you can see trailers, and that gives you an impression of how big that landfill is. And that's the bridge to the construction industry, where we have the 3rd biggest emission rate emerging from the construction industry. This is quite problematic, but we have good news, because we have 3 categories of construction material that are non-problematic. First, renewable materials, wood, hemp or seagrass. This is something that you can quite well use in the construction industry, and that can be incinerated after its life cycle. Second are the reusable material, something like soil or natural stones. With clay, it's a bit like with Play-Doh. You can reuse it again and again. Next thing are glass and aluminium that need a high effort in its primary production,
But if you get them back in a good state, they are reusable again and again and again. This is a very positive notion, which gives us hope for the construction industry. But there is one point where we have to be very attentive, which is cement. Cement being an aggregate for the concrete, which is responsible for a huge part of CO2 emissions, and that's why we were very happy to have an example from India working in that direction, which in my point of view is dealing in a very interesting way with that problem. And I give the floor to Abhishek Sayan from India.
Namaste. Good afternoon, everyone. Did you know that concrete is the most used man-made material on Earth? Cement inside concrete is responsible for 8% of global carbon emission. On the other hand, industries in India are still producing millions of tons of coal waste every year. And finally, because of disrupted supply chains and increasing demands, construction prices is going up. These are massive problems in themselves. Is there a solution that can tackle all three at once? The answer is yes. Presenting to you RecycleX, we convert waste into building materials. I'm Abhishek Chhajed. We truly have a concrete solution. We use waste as a resource, making the environment sustainable. And finally, our products are better and affordable. Making construction truly sustainable is our goal. Our products, one, are better in terms of performance, in terms of strength, and in terms of insulation. Our products have a reduced carbon footprint. And finally, we are truly promoting circular economy because it's 100% recyclable. So for example, if you bring my brick back after 100 of years, I would still recycle it again. We are truly eliminating cement. Ordinary concrete has three main ingredients: sand, aggregate, and cement. When you add water to it, you get concrete. After 2 years of R&D, we have come up with a solution. We use alkaline chemicals and the coal waste from industries as a substitute to eliminate cement from concrete. We are truly turning waste into value. On the top left corner, you can see our production unit. We are producing at a scale. Right now, we are manufacturing bricks around 20,000 a day. We have more than 30 customers in terms of contractors, government bodies who are building houses and high-rise buildings using our bricks. Everyone has numbers, but we have numbers with impact. We have sold more than 1.5 million bricks in the last year. In the process, we have saved tons of CO2 and tons of natural resources. We are directly working on UN SDG 11, 12, and 13. Our team is as tough as concrete. With more than 12 years of experience in just construction, we are truly transforming the world. We are here for investments, strategic partnership, but we are truly here to meet good-hearted people who can join our vision to really transform the world. Thank you.
If I'm sure of one thing, then I'm pretty sure that you meet good-hearted people here. And please don't understand me wrong. We do want to abolish coal-based heating, because you can do better things than just have it in landfills, but use it in the meantime. That's a good solution for that. That's our first phase of pitches. And as you know, at Circular Valley, it's all about startups, but also about public relations that we deal with. And we would like to now show you a short teaser movie which has been produced in the last month about a topic which, in our point of view, is important and will be ever more important. It's at the core of the energy transformation in Germany, wind power. Energy production shall be doubled within the next years. Old installations have to be replaced by new ones. Waste will increase significantly in that sense. 90% will be reused, but it can be made even better. Because wind installations include a lot of high-tech material that can be brought back to the circular one by one. Not a dream, but viable even today. What we do want to achieve is actual circular economy, so that every producer designs his products in a way that we can reuse or recycle them.
In diesem Kino. Nein, ab Mai
soon to be seen in this cinema. No, this movie will be finished soon. It will contain very nice pictures and images and a good overview and summary about wind power. We will get back to the topic of renewable energies, but now I'm very happy to be able to personally greet a man who has been supporting us right from the start, personally, but also in his position in the ministry. Victor Hase, one of our supporters from the beginning. He's State Secretary in the Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation and Transport of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. We are very happy to have you today, and that we are really able to have that green color within the ministry, adding velocity and momentum to the transformation. Thanks for being here. The floor is yours. Thank you very much, Gerhard, for this very nice introduction. Dear representatives, dear startups, ladies and gentlemen, please rest assured that I am very happy to be here with you today. Our ministry, containing environment and transport, I have been right now at the Transport Minister Conference, and I'm very happy to be back in the environment-based area and being back at home. To be able to talk about a very important topic. I'm very happy to be here at and talk at the final phase of this program, and I'd like to congratulate you that in that fourth phase of the program we once again have so many and so great startups, and these unique startups we have seen already. I'd like to warmly welcome you also on behalf of our state government. The IPCC report published a few days ago has made it very clear how we have to accelerate all our endeavors in order to achieve our goals. We have to do more than what we've done in the past, and it's not been so long that in Canada we ratified the Montreal Agreement, because we are also facing the biodiversity crisis, where we have to find the leverage to really design our economy, being able to protect our environment. We have written in our government contract one message, being that the traditional industrial state of North Rhine-Westphalia wants to shall be transferred or converted into sustainable economy. And in order to achieve that, we have to achieve the climate goals. We have to reach CO2 neutrality, which is very known and present everywhere. But circular economy, the topic we're talking now today, is not so present outside of this room as it should be. We are very much convinced that the circular economy for our economic location is a sleeping giant, meaning there lies huge potential. So that's why I'm very grateful also for the Circular Valley program, that this giant has been woken up by this program, and that we want to get it moving. And the 20 billion tons that are being just wasted on a worldwide level is a huge figure and show the enormous potential behind it, the economic potential that lies, that underlies that. And it's not smart to just throw it away instead of using it. In North Rhine-Westphalia, in cooperation with the Ministry of Economy, we want to achieve our goals to tackle this issue, and the federal government will, in a few weeks' time, present the Circular Economy Initiative and strategy. We will also develop our own circular economy strategy, and the potentials of this circularity have to be tapped at state level. And it's about assessing how we can make use of that potentials and systematically use them at a state level. We have to be able to achieve, and we've seen that before in the examples before, that if we are, as a state, depending on raw materials, and we've seen that supply chains are under stress, that when we import those raw materials, we should do it once and then recycle them and reuse them and have them in and hold them in the loop instead of throwing them away and keep importing them again and again. It's just not smart to do that, and it's worth thinking about that, and it's also worth connecting it to a circular economy strategy. And we have to get from a linear to a circular economy. We've heard that several times already today, and also the value chains we have in North Rhine-Westphalia have to be maintained, and also new ones have to be found. And in order to get these value chains, and in order to create value, they will not be chains in the end, but networks of value that we want to develop and maintain. And I think we have good potential for that, because we have institutions like Your Alliance, the foundations, Metabolon, we have the Roundtable Circular Economy, we have the Competence Network, Environmental Economy, and also Circular Valley, last but not least. And we will be very well advised to make use of that network in order to make use of those values. This will be the task that lies ahead for us, and we should take courageous steps towards it, because that mega topic of circular economy, I have to say, we have very good starting conditions, but we have to use them, because other players worldwide will do so. We will have to do that in collaboration with others. But we have to make sure that we are one of the locations where circular economy takes place. With a view to our today's event, I'm not part of the group of people who says, we already know everything, we just have to get it going. I say, no, we still do need new solutions in order to achieve our goals. We still don't know everything. We still don't know how everything works. And this is where the startups play a fundamental role. And I think it's quite impressive what we've seen so far, and that's why I'm happy to see even more about this important role and how we can design the future. And especially the last example, and you've announced it already, where exactly these two topics, climate protection, circularity, and waste management, are being thought together. This is one of the huge challenges, that when we come up with these new infrastructures, you include that in the processes, in the concepts, right from the beginning. Time is right to do so, and that's why I'm quite looking forward to the others, but also I'm very happy to have seen the others, because those are the solutions that we need today and in the future. Now we see today the conclusion of this program, of this accelerator program, with this 4th demo day. But if I'm rightly informed, it's just the beginning of the Circular Valley, and the idea behind it, not only for Wuppertal, but also for the rest of the state, North Rhine-Westphalia, this idea to waken up this sleeping giant, it's a conclusion, but it's also the beginning for the startups within the Circular Valley to work towards the next years. I'm very much looking forward to the next pitches, and I wish you, dear startup owners and supporters, economic success, because your economic success is will secure our future. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Have a great event and evening.
So that was music in our ears, wasn't it? That the very first program is the start of many more things to come. Thanks very much, State Secretary Mr. Hase. So that's an image taken of the Ruhr River, not far from here, and you might guess what we'll be talking about. It's water. Water is the biggest material stream influenced by human beings. 1,000 cubic meters of water and more per capita are needed as a global average per year. So, of course, most is needed for agriculture, and this is when it is about rain and irrigation. But water is totally vital and essential. It dominates also our blue planet. And the awkward thing is, the unfortunate thing is that it's not always where you most need it. So the seas are primarily not usable for us, not always. And rainwater is unevenly distributed. So we've heard it from her. Myanmar has a precipitation amount of 12 meters per, that's 2,000 millimeters per year. That's like the ceiling height here. And other countries might have as much as the thickness of one thumb. So this is how it's distributed. But there is good news. Desalination plants, also in an economic, environment-friendly way, is possible. We will hear more about it. It can be done with as much as, or not even $1 per capita. And the second thing is, the once you have created potable water, or then you can make it circle around for a long time. Singapore and the Netherlands are very good examples for that. They actually, from wastewater, I don't want to call it toilet water, but from polluted water, immediately, without sending it through nature and through the soil, they make potable water. So not everything that shines is gold. Of course, there are things that you should single out of the water, like hormones or medication, on the much discussed PFAS. But now we are looking forward to dealing with water. I'm looking forward to introducing to you 5 startups that deal with water. We begin with Hydroleap, and to this end, I would like to welcome Mo Shetsahan from Singapore.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Mo. I'm the founder and CEO of Hydroleap, a Singapore technology startup. At Hydroleap, we are reimagining the way the world is looking at wastewater. Over 20% of the water, fresh water, is consumed by industries, generating industrial wastewater, which has led to a market of over $280 billion. Just to give you a bit of the sense, all domestic around the world, we are using only 10% of the water. Industries heavily rely on conventional methods to treat their wastewater, which happen to be chemical and energy intensive, as well as they have low efficiencies. That's why the companies, they look at their wastewater more as a waste rather than a resource to recycle or reuse it. Hydroleap, with its patented electrical treatment technology, provides an alternative to these companies to treat the wastewater effectively without the use of chemicals. We have two patented and flagship products that they can address a variety of the contaminants and address quite a variety of the industries, such as food and beverage, textile, mining, cooling systems. We started off in 2016 from a lab scale, but we took it all the way to the commercializations. And as you can see, we're already implementing and making a difference with some of the international companies in Southeast Asia across the food and beverage, data centers, water utilities. With these technologies, the companies have an opportunity to not only treat their wastewater and benefit financially, but also makes another step closer to sustainability and meeting their ESG goals. The business model, we work very flexible. Not only we sell the system, but also we sell water as a service. All of this couldn't be done without the great team of the engineers, scientists, and the business people that we have within the team, as well as the great investors, both governmental as well as the private investors that we have there. While we are here in Circular Valley looking for companies and like-minded people to make the impact that what we are doing more global, but also I would like to let you know about the latest series, the fundraising that we've had. We closed the first part of it in January, and we are closing the second part in May. And we are more than happy to welcome some of the European investors as we are expanding further. If you'd like to know more, we will be happy to have a chat later. Thank you very much.
Mo, ganz herzlichen Dank. Das war Wasser Hightech.
Thanks very much, Mo. That was water high-tech. Now let's talk more about water low-tech, but really related to its application. We are going on to Kenya, to Nairobi, and Davinci Okeli will introduce to us, will present to us how you deal with water, with precipitations on the road network and how to deal with it.
Good afternoon. You all look good from up here. My name is Calvin Sokelo. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, and I want to tell you more about BioRecycler. Well, in Africa, as at yesterday, we had 1.47 billion people. The population is growing really fast. It is estimated that 60% of this population will be living in the urban areas or in the cities. And that's where we have the opportunity. In most of our cities, we have old-age sewer systems that were done like 100 years ago. For example, in Nairobi, where I come from, the sewer is 102 years old. The challenge is only 10% of the city residents are connected to the sewer line. The rest of the city residents live outside the main city and are in satellite towns which are not connected to any sewer infrastructure. The challenge with this is that the upcoming homes and real estate development outside the cities are channeling their wastewater either to the natural waterways or they are digging them deep through soak pits that end up polluting the groundwater. Further to that, most of these satellite towns do not have proper piped water, so they depend on borehole water. So just imagine from the same aquifer which has been contaminated by the sewer water, they get water for domestic use. Such a big problem. And that's why, at BioRecycler, we've come up with a modern, decentralized wastewater treatment system. This system can be used either for single homes or even multiple homes and even at institutions. The system requires no energy to clean the water, but requires solar energy to pump the water for circularity. The water can be reused for either flushing the toilets, for laundry, and also even for gardening. Our model is quite simple. We collaborate with architectural companies. We also work with construction companies. We also plug into sanitation programs by other donors like GIZ and other NGOs. We also target homeowners directly. And so we have done like 100 projects since we started. We have served over 10,000 residents, and we recycle 180 million liters of water every year. We have a great team with over 50 years of engineering experience. We are seeking for partners who will join us for two things. We want to scale to other cities across Kenya and across Africa. We also want to make our solution more containerized and digitized, because we are testing Internet of Things for monitoring of waste and for pay-as-use model. Thank you.
Well, Calvin, thank you very much, and we can only wish you all the success, all the possible success, that 90% of all wastewater is uncleared, and so what it takes is quick solutions. When you talk about water, what matters is always that the elements, that you can single them out, that you can make it pure again. And the next thing will be a very interesting example of a technology with which you can make water rotate so that some floating agents are just filtered out. So I don't want to anticipate too much. I just want to give you an idea that we are so privileged to be able to collaborate with this interesting person. Taya Borac once learned how to make boats. So he knows his ropes. He actually knows how to form a material so that at the end the water flows in an optimal way. And most probably it was this previous education and then that was added to a study course that enabled him to devise exactly this pipe, or this tube that he's going to present to us, the Hydrocyclone 2.0. Taya, floor is yours.
Bin ich zu hören? Jetzt, alles klar. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. It's my pleasure to present you Cyfract, the next generation hydrocyclone. Water treatment is a major challenge. Oh, was? Nee. Was ist da los? Water treatment is a major challenge today. More than 2 billion people don't have access to clean water. Existing technologies are too complex and expensive to cope with this demand. And no matter which water treatment we look at, for example, wastewater or cooling water or drinking water treatment, the first process step is always the separation of particles and organisms from the water. Today, such particles are mainly separated by filter technologies. But filters have to be cleaned frequently, often by using chemicals. And finally, they have to be replaced. Cyclone separators could be an alternative, but conventional cyclones are only able to separate particles which are either much heavier or lighter than water. We at Cyfract have a radical, innovative hydrocyclone. If you imagine a tube with a length of 2 meters and a diameter of 25 millimeters, here you see the last ½ meter of our device. It has no moving parts and realizes a throughput of 5,000 liters per hour. The water flows in from the left, and by a special tube geometry, it is set into rotation in a very defined way. And with the guide vanes at the end, it is possible to separate particles which are heavier and lighter at the same time to the outside, and take out the clean portion of the water by a smaller tube. Cyfract is a cost-efficient, energy-efficient, and eco-friendly solution. We are supported by Sprint, the Federal Agency for Disruptive Innovations. Our prototype shows significant results in separating different kinds of microplastics by up to 95%. We have a German and a US patent granted, and the European patent is pending. Cyfract has a very strong engineering team consisting of Jonas Reinhold, Felix Ziegler, and myself, Taya Bayrakci. And we are convinced that our radical innovation, combined with strong purpose focus, will result in global benefit. We would love to have you as partners, and we are looking forward to get in touch with you. Thank you for your attention.
Vielen Dank. Wenn wir für ein solches Programm 500 Bewerbungen aus aller
If we
Welt
have
bekommen,
500 applications for such a program, it's not easy to choose, to select, but there are some that actually stand out right from the outset. And the next startup is such a thing. It's a startup based in Palestine, and that deals actually with a topic that most of us in the team would have said, how can this represent a problem? Well, how can this be an issue? The cleaning of wastewater from the olive oil production. I always think if you press an olive, just as much as you can eat an olive, no harmful wastewater could emerge. But they taught us better. With every liter olive oil, you have 7 liters of highly burdened wastewater. What was done with it in the past and what will be done with it in the future, we will now hear from Taya Bashe from Palestine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today. My name is Tahar Tafish. I'm from Palestine. And after working for 5 years in the olive sector, I discovered a huge problem with the olive oil supply chain. It's a take, make, use, lose formula. At Colea, we provide nature-based solutions for wastewater treatment and valorization, bringing circularity, biodiversity, resilience to the olive oil supply chain. Did you know that only 1 liter of olive oil produces 7 liters of wastewater, which contaminates air, soil, water ecosystem? 60 million cubic meters of this wastewater is being annually produced and disposed to the environment unsafely worldwide. Imagine filling 28,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools with wastewater from olive mills every year. But we have a solution for this. By re-engineering the olive mill, and with our unique fungus technology, we transform this wastewater into a biofertilizer, which we can use for irrigation and fertilization, solving the problem of not only toxic wastewater, but the problem of the use of chemical fertilizers and water scarcity. Our technology is backed by over 3 decades of microbiology research, lab and large-scale experiments, and currently in preparation for patenting, making us the first in the world for the eco-friendly solution for the wastewater treatment for olive mills. We want to revolutionize the olive oil landscape by targeting olive mill businesses, cooperatives, farmer associations, and governmental bodies. The olive oil sector is huge. Every year we make 15 billion euros from the sales and production of oil, with an untapped potential of a wastewater market for olive mills of over 300 million euros. For the next 10 years, we aim to take 10% of this market and fix the problem. We are a passionate German-Palestinian team, driven by the desire to work with nature, not against it. Professor Dr. Mazen Salman, our plant pathologist and microbiology research, Mais Omar is our business model expert, myself as a circular economist, Matthias Rutenberger, our agriculture expert, and Sean Chris, our product management expert. Are you also driven by the desire of understanding the language of nature with us? Make sure to talk with us tonight. Thank you.
Wonderful. Last but not least, when it comes to water, we come to desalination. This is a huge topic, and if we'd be able to desalinate ocean water, we would take a huge step forward, and Desalinator will now present us their progress, the progress they have made in the last years. I'm very much looking forward to your presentation.
Good afternoon. Water. Water is essential to life on this planet, yet today it remains one of our most undervalued commodities. According to the UN, already 2 billion people live in water-stressed or water-poor regions around the world. And this is only going to get worse in the coming decades, with the impact of climate change making our water systems even more unpredictable. We have to turn to our blue planet and tap into the 98% of water that remains locked in our seas and our oceans. This makes desalination the obvious choice. However, the way we desalinate today is harming the planet. It relies heavily on fossil fuels, is energy and chemically intensive, and creates a toxic waste stream known as brine that enters our oceans and hurts our marine life. This link between water and energy only sustains a vicious cycle to meet an ever-growing problem. And it is this cycle we want to break at Desalinator. We aim to bring water to the people in areas that need it most. That is why we have developed a solution that is modular, containerized, and easily deployable. Based on our 3 patents, we've developed the solution to harness the energy of the sun and convert this not only to electricity, but to heat to drive our process. That means no harmful chemicals, no membranes, only ocean-safe brine. We've designed this with a changing climate in mind, meaning it can distill the most complex water types on the Earth. But most importantly, we've designed this system to be accessible for all our clients, and simply at the cost of a monthly water bill. And at a levelized cost of water at $1 per cubic meter, we aim to be competitive in our water markets today. Now, this might sound too good to be true, but this is not just a pipe dream. Since last October of 2022, in collaboration with the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, our demonstrator flagship project has gone live and is producing sustainable water on a daily basis, even as we speak now. At Desalinator, we truly believe that water is our legacy. For our work in this space, we have been recognized by some of the most impactful organizations around the world. But beyond this, we see ourselves perfectly positioned to create a framework around sustainable water provisioning. With various industries emitting waste heat, for instance, from green hydrogen to the power generation industry, we can recapture some of this heat, integrate this into our thermal solution, and close this water gap to truly create a sustainable and circular water network. Backed by an experienced team of business leaders, serial entrepreneurs, and key figures in the desalination industry, we aim to be pioneers paving the pathway forward for a sustainable water future. This is Desalinator. I'm Xander Schwarze, and join us in waterproofing your future. Thank you.
Ja, ganz herzlichen Dank, Sander.
Thank you very much, Xander. If you read news like water is the new oil, war for water, it's a very encouraging to hear that water can be potable water can be generated in a quite affordable way. And that gives me a good bridge to the next keynote speaker, Mr. Dr. Andreas Euring, Chairman of the Executive Board of the Barmenia Insurance Group, supporter from the beginning, and also member of the founders of the Circular Valley Foundation. And I give you a warm welcome and thank you much. Thank you very much for being here. Dear Mr. Gerhardt, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'm very happy to have the opportunity to be here. As you've heard, the Barmenia Insurance Group has been part of this program from the start. We're very proud to fulfill that function, and I'm very happy to also give you a slight impulse today, because some of you might have asked themselves, what can an insurance group contribute to our program? But first of all, from the investors' point of view, and I'd like to give you some insights into our industry and how we proceed within our industry. What is very important for me to stress from beforehand is that our insurance group is very much stressing the topic of sustainability. And not just now, but we have been doing so for the last 20 years. We do that because we are very convinced to be supporters in transforming our economy into a sustainable economy. And I think as an insurance, we can do so, and we are not alone, but the whole industry is accelerating in that sense. And I think it's worth it because we can help when it comes to finance sustainable business models, something that is the approach of my speech now. As I said, we want to contribute and be part of that transformation process. And we can do so as an insurance group with two aspects. First of all, asking ourselves, how do we use our resources? And when it comes to the topic of sustainability, and you do so in a holistic way, it's very fundamental to assess and orient and design your own use of resources. We do that, the whole industry, but it's not the driver for our transformation process, but it's especially about the orientation of the CO2 neutrality of our funding. And this is the core of it and where we can help. I'd like to give you an impression of what we are talking about and how much we ourselves have to transform ourselves and what we have to make available in order to achieve the transformation at a national level, but also European level. Because especially for us as the insurance industry, it's not a just a national topic, because as a European regulated industry, there are a lot of things taking place at European level, and maybe you have heard sustainable finance, the buzzword which has gained importance since the year 2018, now being at the top of the European agenda. 2018, the action plan for sustainable finances has been put forward, and behind all of that is the question, how can the transformational process can be accompanied by financing? Now, if you look at all the goals that are formulated much more with the vision of 2050 in mind, then nowadays, in order to achieve that, 180 million euros would have to be invested sustainably on a yearly basis, so that realistically in 2050 the goals formulated at European level can be achieved. And those 180 billion, this is something that cannot be done by the nations, and that's why economy and companies have to be taken on board. And when we talk money, the institutional investors are asked to contribute, and within those, especially us as insurance industry. And with one chart, I'd like to give you an overview, and that's why I stress it so much. The German insurance industry, in sum, is managing more or less 1.8 billion of euros. As investors, we at the core are positioning ourselves in a very long-term model. And if you take a look at how those 1.8 billions compare to other KPIs within the industry and within of the economy, you can compare them very well. This is the 2021 view, the capitalization within the DAX, 1.4 billions, so that our finance resources are higher, 3.5 billion of gross product. You see that there is impact within the industry, but it's all resources invested on the long run, which means that when we accompany a process, it's for the long run. And as Barmenia and also the whole industry pursues the goal to be reach climate neutrality, and this is a nice bridge, because climate neutral, we can only be that if we are able to invest within that time frame in sustainable resources and in sustainable models, which means investing in things that are at the core of this event. Now, if we look at the companies, I'm speaking on behalf of the Barmenia Insurance Group. We are a national group, and we manage more or less 15 billion of euros. It's very typical for our industry how our asset portfolio looks like. Naturally, a bigger quota of this is part of pension funds, because as a regulated company, first and foremost, we have to orient our funding in a secure manner. But you see that also not a small part of our finances are invested in equity funds, or also real investments like infrastructure programs, and this makes it possible for us to orient funds in a very quickly way in different areas like sustainability or circular economy, and be able to support those. This is just one part of it, but also when it comes to more conservative installations, where we talk about, and funding, where we talk about financing, we as group can help, because we always have the long run focus in mind, so that we have the possibility to contribute from the beginning with funding, but also when it comes to the establishment of economy and business models, once having itself established in the market, and you need further funding. The insurance industry, but also we as a group, always have the opportunity to keep investing. We can only do so in a certain amount, but this amount compared to those 1.8 billion, or with us 15 billion of euros, gives margin for maneuver and room for maneuver. And very concretely seen what we've done in the In the past, in our group in 2021, we founded a society, a company, which is called Barmenia Next Strategies, with which we invest in sustainable companies. Now we have a focus on health, everything that has to do with health economy, because that matches our core business. But generally seen, those investment vehicles are open to head towards other paths. And this event is the perfect platform to keep discussing that. And that's why I want to open the doors again to approach us. And where interesting models are generated or where they are already established, it's very worth it to open the discussion and to see, could we enter this market with investments, or could we be a good match for partnering? And that's where I truly thank you for your attention, and I would be very happy to see that we are interesting for you and that we could have further conversations. Thank you very much.
Vielen herzlichen Dank, Herr Dr. Eurich.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Eurich. That was a quite interesting overview about the potential of the insurance industry and very concretely your activities. Barmenia is the sponsor of the football team Leverkusen. I think a few days ago they defeated Bayern Munich, but we don't want to head very deeply in football now and soccer, but we come to the next topic, which is energy. What you can see here is an image from the south of Germany. Very old stables, but very high technology PV installations on the roof. It's a very current topic that is being discussed. Sun provides us 10 times more energy than we need. And in very positive locations, you can get the kilowatt hour for less than 3 cents. With very efficient ones, it's even less than 1 cent per kilowatt hour. Then you have the possibility to store it, to convert it in alternative materials, buzzword e-fuels, without wanting to open the discussion on a political level. But I say attention, and we've heard that from Mr. Hase already. Everything that's being produced now, the millions of e-vehicle batteries, millions of energy plants and PV panels should be done and produced in a way that they don't put us
warum wir dieses Thema bei uns auf die Agenda genommen haben. Und ich freue mich sehr, dass wir jetzt eintauchen können in eine sehr spezielle Technologie, ganz wichtig für die Energiewende, nämlich die Elektrolyse. Und
do a deep dive into a very interesting topic now, which is energy. Daniel, the floor is yours. I welcome you from the Silicon Valley.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Sovek. I'm the CEO of 1S1 Energy. At 1S1, we're developing next generation electrolyzers for the generation of green hydrogen cheaply and at scale. So hydrogen is an essential feed-through gas for industry, and is used massively to make ammonia, green steel, and also semiconductors, among other examples. But the issue is that obtaining it from fossil fuels is messy. It has a messy supply chain. It involves extracting natural gas, liquefying it and transporting it over long distances, regasify it, and then strip the hydrogen from the hydrocarbon using methane steam reforming. So at 1S1, we produce hydrogen from water using renewable energy. And we can do this at a cost, for example, from offshore wind of less than $2 per kilogram. Very fundamental innovations enable us to do this, and through these innovations, we can lower the cost of the CapEx by 50%, while increasing the production efficiency by 30%, and all this with significant durability. Along the way, our customers told us that our materials are also useful for fuel cells, where they can make a significant difference, especially for the heavy trucking segment. So there we can provide 50% higher power density, using components that are half the cost, and also meet the durability requirements for heavy trucks. So we're developing products that will have significant impact in the market, first by commercializing components for fuel cells, and then integrating those into vertically integrated electrolyzers that we will offer in 2026 at a scale of 1 megawatt per unit. So our technology has been validated through different steps. First, our data has been validated through important labs in the United States, including the Renewable Energy Laboratory in Golden, Colorado. We have 5 ongoing collaborations with large companies in Japan and Europe in the areas of materials and also electrolyzer pilots. We have received venture backing in the order of $3 million. And also we have public backing through the important projects of common European interest to develop our equipment in Portugal with funding of 46 million euros. Our team is a dedicated team of experienced entrepreneurs, engineers, and scientists, and we all have the common goal of fighting climate change. If you would like to learn more about us, please feel free to contact us. We're open to corporate partnerships, pilot projects, and investment. Thank you for your attention.
It's an absolute key technology. Meanwhile, we've had 75 startups here in the Circular Valley that we present to you today. And the fascinating thing is when you start to see how well they match together. Today we have heard about seawater desalination. You've heard what you can do with the seawater, which is hydrogen. And the next startup will actually tell us what you can make of the hydrogen if you add the useless CO2 to it. I'm looking forward to hear Paolo from Licata in Italy.
As we all know, global warming is upon us. People dumped about 38 gigatons of CO2 into the atmosphere in 2022. Europe is forcing companies to reduce their carbon footprint through carbon tax, which is ruining their organization. And in addition to that, corporates need to innovate their business model because of the increasing of the demand for sustainable products. Is it possible to solve these huge carbon-related world problems? Yes, it is, and today I will show you our solution. Buonasera a tutti, sono Paolo Licata, and I'm the CEO of Convert, and we create innovative catalysts, making carbon dioxide as a resource. We created a new solution which avoids and values CO2 emissions. We reduce corporates' carbon footprint, and we innovate their business model, creating new streams of revenues. We turn CO2 and green hydrogen into sustainable chemicals, a valuable industrial resource that can be used for the making of your sustainable car fuel or your perfume. Our specialty is the development of the catalysts, and we boost both high activity and high selectivity in order to facilitate one-step chemical process via thermal catalysis. And this unique combination makes our catalyst ideal for scale-up production processes. Our vision is clear, as our next step are. We aim to be the first European one-step industrial solution, and that's why in 2023 we will start the ethanol production in order to create the first CO2 made from air. In 2024 we will validate the industrial one, and in 2025 we will be market established. And finally, we produce carbon-negative ethanol. We reduce 3.4 kilograms of CO2 per each kilogram of ethanol produced. And we are now in the process of developing our demo plant, thanks to our technical partner, Hulteberg. Our team is really committed to decarbonization. We combine all the business, legal, and technical skills to make Convert succeed. But what really drives us is passion for sustainability and makes a change. We create innovative catalysts, making carbon dioxide as a resource. And those are all the reasons why you should invest in Convert. Be the first European one-step industrial solution, be unique, be sustainable, be innovative. Grazie.
Wunderbar, ganz herzlichen Dank, Paolo.
That was great. Thanks very much, Paolo.
Sind wir durch.
With this, we're through. We actually have the fourth giant topic. We call it Giga theme because it's always about the structures that relate to billions of tons. And we come to the fifth point of your agenda, and I would like to make an introduction with this grade of potable water. It is about close-to-household collection. And where is it where the biggest volume of pollination, of pollution with the waste streams? Alas, that's in our home. We have everything separated, neatly separated, and we carry it home, and there are many ways how it can enter our house and how it leaves our house. And there's only few pathways, and that's actually the waste collection in its different forms. And of course, the principal idea, the underlying idea or the question is, should you select at a very early stage in your household, or would you say, no, put it all together and it will be singled out later? As a rule, it isn't singled out at a later stage. We haven't made that much progress technologically. This is why the waste incineration plants are at full throttle in our region. But the beautiful thing is, and I will get back to that later too, the beautiful thing is the more we actually have with supply services, the more we have the opportunity to give them something back when they come to our household door. And the model that was developed, you've seen it in the water grade, is not even a new one. How boring. We've had it 15, 20 years ago, but it's actually something that has fallen into oblivion. What is important was to create maximum synergy between all the supply services or delivery services, and I will get back to that later. Okay, so I pressed too many buttons now here.
Genau, jetzt haben Sie schon im Schnelldurchlauf.
You have the fast-forward motion already. Please forget everything because I don't want to spoil. Because now I would like to warmly welcome Marc Diefenbach from our neighboring city of Essen, who together with his partner during the Corona crisis actually thought about how you can master this flood of waste streams, and they have developed RhinoPack. Warm welcome to you, Marc.
Thank you, thank you. Did you ever buy something online? I guess you did, and so did I. And I also guess that this delivery has been made to you in a single-way cardboard packaging. And this is actually where the problem begins. WWF published in July last year a study with a comparison between wood consumption by us humans and the sustainable wood supply by nature. And one of the key results was that already today the consumption exceeds the sustainable supply by 66%, and projections for the future indicate that this gap is actually going to increase. And what's really sad about this is when you take a look at the numbers, you will find out that every fourth tree that is industrially cut down, so 25% of the wood that is industrially cut down, is being used for packaging, just to bring our products from one point to another. And we ask ourselves at RhinoPack, why do we use reusable systems on a large scale, shipping containers and pallets, but when it comes to us and our daily consumer life, we stick to disposable packaging? So we are certain that there is a better solution, and this is why we came up with RhinoPack. A reusable packaging for the e-commerce. It can be in two states, in a box state for delivery and an envelope state for recirculation. So how does it work? So we ship our packaging in larger reusable packages, as you can see in the picture, to these online stores. They use it, and those online stores ship their goods this time with our RhinoPacks. So me as a customer, I receive a RhinoPack, I'm happy about my delivery. Well, I open the box, take out the stuff, and fold the RhinoPack together to an envelope, and throw it in the next mailbox for recirculation. This way it comes back to us, to Rhinopack, and we take care for refurbishment and recirculation from Essen. After 10 of these cycles, we can actually save up to 50% of carbon dioxide and reduce cardboard waste by 1.5 kilograms just using one Rhinopack. Besides increasing sustainability, we also see marketing benefits. So each Rhinopack carries a unique ID with a QR code inside. I can take a look as an interested customer, and I will see how often has this Rhinopack been used, how much carbon dioxide did we save already, and what other online stores did actually use this Rhinopack. So these online stores now get my attention as a customer, and maybe I'm going to buy something there as well next time. An even bigger marketing benefit is that we see that people tend to share things online they have a good feeling about. So just by using reusable packages, these online stores can actually increase the reach tremendously. So we combine sustainability and marketing benefits. This is the founding team, Matthias Thesing and me. My name is Marc Diefmach. I'm co-founder of Rhinopack, and I'm convinced that our packaging can make a real difference. Join our journey and follow us on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
That's great. It's so totally practical. It's so handy just to feed back your packaging material. That's a really great idea. So we move on. We go to the other end where there is more sorting work to do. And here I would like to welcome Marjorie Dresset from Paris. And if you like, please give her a big warm hand because she has actually married last weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. And when I don't get married, I talk about trash. And this is what I'm going to talk to you about right now. The two bottles that you see here are identical, except that one comes from virgin PET and the other one comes from recycled PET. You would think, well, they share the same characteristics, they're basically equal, and they should be valued the same. The problem is one is 20% more expensive than the other, and it's not the one you expect. It's actually cheaper to manufacture virgin PET than from recycled PET. The reason behind that is because all along the value chain, the waste value chain, the recycling value chain, there are frictions. Sort of frictions of inefficiency that come from one thing. We don't know what we're dealing with. We don't know what we collect, we don't know what we sort, and we don't know what we recycle. And that's exactly where we're coming in. Lixo develops traceability tools for the waste management industry. It works pretty simply, but with high tech. First, we capture images. Then we analyze those images, and then we provide real-time data about what we're dealing with. That is an example of a material recovery facility, but it also works on collection. We capture data, we analyze data, and then we provide that data in real time on dashboards. This is a massive, massive market. The software, traceability software market worldwide for municipal waste only is 4 billion euros. With what we do, we can extend it to deeper down the line in the value chain and to other types of waste. We're talking about organic waste, construction waste, electronic waste, you name it. To do that, we have a network of partners, obviously, but we've already worked with an extended number of clients. We work with all the big guys out there, not all of them. I think there's something to be done on the German market, but we're already present in France, in Portugal, in Netherlands, and we're going to open 3 to 4 more countries during this year. It enables us to analyze 15,000 bins a day, and we'll triple that by the end of year. We do that thanks to an amazing team of 20 people, very dedicated to what we do, and also networks of partners, both financial and technical, and we've raised a 3.5 million seed round about a year and a half ago. What we want to do is continue to expand, so if you want to follow us, oh yeah, I had one more. that says that we've been celebrated by many awards in French, obviously, but across Europe as a whole. And if you want to know more, don't hesitate to reach out and stay in touch. Thank you very much.
If you would take the joy here and if you share the privilege to be able to talk to so outrageously interesting people to talk about their business ideas and to be able to develop new ideas from your vast network of partners. So sometimes even ourselves have a new idea, and I am happy to be able to present to you these new ideas. It's a project forwarded by Clara Hennings. We have called it and the observation is that our inner cities are swamped by delivery vehicles. There's more than half a dozen of parcels, delivery providers, DHL, and so on. And the Amazon vehicles drive around. We have delivery services because you can basically have everything delivered. It was the menu, but meanwhile you can also order your beer via Flink or via Gorilla or via Picnic. You can have foodstuffs delivered, which per se is a good thing. It makes much more sense if one delivery service services 10 customers than if 10 private cars would drive to a supermarket. But it's getting dense, and it's totally deregulated, this business. You don't have this deregulation. There's one utility provider, one telecommunications provider that takes the last mile. But when it comes to delivery services, there is a whole lot of multiplicity, and unfortunately, it's all focused to the delivery there, and hardly anyone is taking something back. This is a photo taken from a pen that I had sent to my house. We have 2 knives by Zwilling. It was taken to our house in a giant box, and it didn't fill the box. And this leads to these pictures like these. This is a picture taken from a waste incineration plant, because the majority of the waste is still burned in Germany. So what can be done about that? Of course, we as consumers that we want to go for a sustainable way of life can deal all Saturday to drive around and making the tour of old bottles, shoe electronic devices. You can all collect it and then separately drive it to somewhere. Some of us do it, and batteries we take to the supermarket, to the cash counter, and we put it into the Tomra vending machines, those old bottles, and it's not efficient. So the idea of Circular Valley Delivery is to establish a delivery service that makes it that once you go there to a house door, there's a typical way. You see a household, you go up a staircase. So most of the work is done already when you bring things. And why not establish a delivery service which very consequently takes back everything we collect today, and ideally also offers an added service because for the 85-year-old person, changing a light bulb, it might represent an issue, but so they can just do it. So we could add added services and to complement it by person transport. So everything that goes out is inbound, could be going outbound. And we wanted to match everything. There are 5 prerequisites that we have identified that we want to have a look at. It needs to be an extremely attractive vehicle. So because you don't want to travel, when you do city traveling, you want to be able to transport valuable resources, the pizza, and maybe a person. And we need simple but very functional transport boxes for all kinds of post-consumer products. So we need highly trustworthy and capable staff, like the postman 30 years ago, and everyone was happy to see them at the time. He would always be let in, and is also very well taken to do some little repair work. So it needs to be a rather comprehensive service range. And you can't do it just with 5 vehicles. Here in Wuppertal, it would have to be 200 or 300 vehicles that offer all those added value services. Please don't understand it as a startup that we would like, but but rather an idea that we'd like to discuss with you when we are sitting over food and drinks, because we are quite convinced that it would have an added value for the quality of life, but also to be able to close the loophole of material streams at household level. With this, I would like to thank you for your attention. We're through with what we call the pitches, and now I'm looking forward to the second part, the second film of the film students of the University of Wuppertal, and you will actually recognize many of our startups. I think it's a fascinating example. I was actually so extremely happy, and I hope you have as much fun with the film that we had.
Was ist Circular Valley?
What is Circular Valley? Let's start with what a Circular Valley is actually made of, the people.
Immer mehr Menschen weltweit zeigen, dass
Ever
ihnen
more
das Klima
people
und somit
worldwide
unsere Heimat,
show
die Erde, wichtig
that
sind.
climate and therefore our
Unter diesen Menschen
home
gibt es viele,
planet
die ihren
Earth
Alltag
is worth.
zirkulärer gestalten. Das
There are more and more
bedeutet, sie achten
people
beim
wanting
Konsum,
to design
Einkauf und
their
Nutzung
daily
von
life in a
Gegenständen
sustainable
darauf,
and
dass sie
circular
nicht
way,
einfach
which means
weggeschmissen,
that
sondern
they
zurück in den
consume
Kreislauf der Wiederverwertung
things
geschickt
that
werden.
can be reused and recycled.
Einige dieser Menschen haben
Some
dabei
of those
Ideen, die über
people
ihren Alltag
have
hinausgehen.
life-changing ideas.
Diese Ideen können im größeren
Those
Rahmen für
ideas
eine bessere
within
Zukunft
a
sorgen
bigger
und brauchen
framework
daher
can make a
eine
better
gute
future
Anlaufstelle,
for
um
us
ein
all.
Netzwerk aufbauen zu
Therefore,
können und
and therefore
ihre Ideen
need a
Wirklichkeit
good
werden zu
platform
lassen.
to make them
Dieses
real
Netzwerk
and
ist
happen.
der Kern
And
von
this
Circular
network
Valley.
is at the core of Circular Valley.
Die Circular Valley Stiftung
The
bringt
Circular Valley
ähnlich wie ein
Foundation,
Datingportal die Menschen
similar
zusammen,
to a
die
dating
zusammengehören.
portal, matches people
Von
that belong
kreativen Köpfen
together,
mit waghalsigen
starting
Ideen
with
hin zu
creative
Wissenschaftlern,
heads
Vorständen,
and
Politikern
brains,
und Investoren
connecting
treffen
them
sich bei uns
to
alle an der
investors and
grünen
politicians.
Tafelrunde,
All of us
gemeinsam
meet
unsere
at the
nachhaltige
green
Zukunft
round
zu erarbeiten.
table in order to achieve a sustainable future
Der
for
Austausch
us
von
all.
Informationen und
The
Inhalten
exchange
kann
of
dabei
ideas and
verschiedenste Ziele verfolgen.
contents can pursue different goals.
Grundsätzlich können diese Ziele mit
Generally
den drei
seen,
Hauptaufgaben von
those
Circular Valley
goals
illustriert werden.
can be illustrated with the
Accelerator,
three main
öffentliche
tasks
und politische
of Circular
Arbeit.
Valley: Circular Economy Accelerator, public relations,
Circular
and political
Economy
recommendations.
Accelerator
Our Circular Economy
verhilft
Accelerator
internationalen Startups mit
helps
nachhaltigen
international
Ideen dabei,
startups with
ihre
sustainable
Ideen und
ideas
Gedanken Wirklichkeit werden zu
to
lassen.
make their ideas
Durch
real.
verschiedenste Workshops und Coachings
Via
werden die
different
kreativen
workshops and
Ideen in Erfindungen
coachings,
mit
their
konkretem Geschäftsmodell
ideas are
verwandelt.
transformed into
Die Startups
concrete
werden darüber
business
hinaus Teil des
models,
Circular Valley
and they
Netzwerks,
form
wodurch die
part of
Ideen
the
dort
Circular Valley
ankommen können, wo sie
network
auch am
so
meisten
that their
gebraucht werden.
ideas can get where they are needed.
Die Erfinder dieser erfolgreichen
The
Ideen haben sich bereits
inventors
mit dem Thema
of
der
those
zirkulären Wirtschaft über
successful
längere Zeit
ideas
auseinandergesetzt.
have dealt with the idea of circular economy for quite some
Dabei
time.
gibt es aber immer noch Menschen, die mit dem Begriff sehr
There are
wenig
still
anfangen
many
können.
people
Mit
who don't know
Öffentlichkeitsarbeit
the
kann die
concept of
Thematik zum
circular
Beispiel durch die
economy,
Mittel der
but
Kunst über
using
Unternehmen und
marketing and
Startups
public
hinaus auch an die
relations via
Verbraucher
art,
gebracht werden.
their ideas of the
den
startups
größten Unterschied
can
zu
made
bewirken, ist die
available
Politik
to the
unabdingbar.
consumers.
Aus der
But
Zusammenarbeit
politics
verschiedenster
and
Branchen
the
und
collaboration
Menschen können
with
sich
that
politische
is
Empfehlungen
fundamental.
herauskristallisieren, die einen Mehrwert für
Political
alle haben können.
recommendations can be derived from the
Denn
different
gemeinsam
ideas
können wir
having
mehr.
an added value
Circular
for
Valley
all,
versteht sich
because
als das
together
Silicon
we can
Valley der
achieve more.
zirkulären
Circular Valley is the Silicon Valley of the circular economy.
Es ist ein Ort, an dem Menschen
It
mit
is a
Leidenschaft und
place where
großen Visionen
people with
zusammenarbeiten
passion
und sich
and big
unterstützen
visions
können.
collaborate and can
Letztendlich
support
haben
each
wir nur
other,
einen Planeten.
because at the end we
Retten
only have
können wir ihn
one
nicht
planet
allein.
and we cannot save him alone. Thank you very much for this very warm applause, because it's a student project of the students of the Bergische Universität, the university here of Wuppertal, and that's something that motivates us in our accelerator if we get such a good support. We were only able to show 2 movies now, but you will see more of the movies on our YouTube channel at 6 p.m. And now I'd like to welcome our third guest, who I would like to talk to now. It's Dr. Johannes Welling, Ministerialdirigent, head of the Department 8 from our Ministry of Economy, Innovation and Digital and Energy. He is the Mr. Digital and Startups because he founded the High-Tech Founder Fund, and the German Accelerator in the Silicon Valley has been established by him. Last year, this place, we had Mr. Robertson from the Silicon Valley, a professor, looking back on his years in the Silicon Valley and draw parallels between Silicon Valley and us here, and that's why I'm very happy to have another view, an external view on Circular Valley from someone who comes from the external world. And now I'd like to warmly welcome Johannes Welling.
Five
5,000 startups. That's the number, more or less, that you have supported during the last years. That's why I say Mr. Startup in Germany. Like 300 startup founder fund, 3,000 exist, the other fund. How come? Please tell us something about your way to get Mr. German Startup. Yeah, actually, one has to say that we are officials. We are the contrary of startups, actually. We are part of a ministry to depend on that employer, and there are very few cases you leave that ministry. So it's not very normal to pursue that path. But maybe 2 factors were important for me because I come from an entrepreneur family, not far from here, and that's where I got my entrepreneurial DNA from. I also come a bit from banking. That's why I'm interested in funding, financing, and that combination back to the 2000 year, the new markets and venture capital as buzzwords. That was interesting for the whole world. And that's where it started. And then, as it happens, I came into that area, felt at ease there. And then the Founders Fund, and if we are now talking about crisis on the venture capital market, and everything has been reduced to a more normal level. 16 seed financing in Germany in 2004, that's what we had. This, for North Rhine-Westphalia, that's 3 startups that were funded. That was very interesting for us, and for me. I took a deep dive, and as the first thing, we founded the Founders Fund. And you said it, now we have seen the 4th generation of founders, and the youngest fund now, consisting of 500 million, and a lot of industry partners investing there. It's a very interesting thing. That sounds fantastic, and it's nice to have you here in Düsseldorf in order to wake up that sleeping giant we have been talking about. Now we have a lot of young entrepreneurs, young startups, and established industry. Now, I couldn't be able to say who comes from where, but what would be your advice to both of the groups? How can they collaborate, and how can they wake up the sleeping giant Mr. Hase talked about? Yeah, what would be your advice looking back on so many years with startups and companies? I think first for a startup, the basic rules, and you'll know that in the end, it's about developing an idea that is not only interesting technology-wise, because a lot of startups think very late about having to sell that idea too. That's why I always say, for me, every euro I earn via a client is more worth than funding. I mean, I'm contradicting my own financing solutions and funding, but it's very important to have clients to promote that and develop with these revenues your business model. Because it's important to get feedback in that during that process. Those are the basic rules for startups, and I think what is important for our region, especially North Rhine-Westphalia, maybe compared to other regions we have in Germany, thinking about startups, I still miss that thinking big pattern. We are quite modest still and think locally, don't tend to think globally. And here we say that every 10th startup thinks globally right from the beginning, whereas in Berlin it's 60%. So that international part of it is something that we have to stress, because the German market is big, yes, but there are a lot of ideas out there, especially ideas here, circular economy ideas here, are things that have to be marketed on a global level. This is a very central thing for me. For startups, but also when it comes to the economy and the industry, I thought it's really interesting that also for the new generation of the Founders Fund, 40 investors for the startups, this is the window of opportunity, because they have a key account manager that looks at the interesting startups and takes a look at the pitches. This is one methodology. The others have corporate venture units or innovation units. There are hundreds of innovation units of companies being options to approach startups. But what I see or have seen in the last years is the clash of culture between startups being like speedboats and then a corporate industry more being like a tank and being really massive and have to have a huge break path. So this clash of culture is also sometimes a problem. And I don't know who knows this dilemma of accepting the innovation within a company, because you always have the companies knowing it best, but there are also always people who fear their own position within the company, facing the new idea. And this is something very difficult for companies, accepting the adaptation for new ideas and integrating these new ideas within the company structure. We all know Kodak, the digital which invented the digital photography. And we all know what happened after that. Or take Dr. Oetker, which established Durst Express, the delivery of bottles to the consumers. And then there was another delivery company, Flaschenpost. Dr. Oetker bought Flaschenpost. They reintegrated it in Dr. Oetker, and they very consciously do it that way, that integrating the startup within the company, I leave it run freely, because whenever I start to put or to apply my company culture to those startups, it's the beginning of the end. Yeah, there was a very interesting perspectives on that, and here the professor for sustainable economy at our university was nodding all along. We are here, the European Center of Recycling Industry. We have the best scientists here. We are very international, internationally based. But what do we now need to gain more momentum? We have everything, right? We have the support of the politics. We have your support here. What's missing? Is anything missing? I do think that we are quite well positioned, and sometimes marketing is part of it, and making your voice heard. I think that's part of it. I think what we do today with the Circular Valley, such events, publishing, being self-confident in our communication, saying we are the best. This is what we need in Germany. Yeah, we have to be a bit more self-confident, communicate that, because sometimes that's our disease as Germans. We know it better. We can do it better than some American companies, but we don't sell it better. We don't communicate it better. What I do see in North Rhine-Westphalia and the core of our region has developed quite better when it comes to startups. We have accelerated compared to other regions in Germany, and we also have strength compared to other regions, focusing more on the B2B area. Startups that can convert into models for a region. So thank you very much. That's a very good perspective. Sell it. We have to offer a lot, and we sell ourselves undervalue. We should communicate more, be self-confident, and communicate that to the outside world. Thank you very much, Dr. Welling, for being here. Thank you.
Was macht denn jetzt?
Now, what am I doing here?
Ich würde gerne
Now,
zwei Herren auf die Bühne
I'd like
bitten, weil wir
to ask
hier und
two
heute eine
persons
Kollaboration
coming to stage,
unterzeichnen
because we
wollen
want
zwischen
to
zwei
sign
ganz
a
wichtigen
collaboration
Einrichtungen.
contract between
Wir
two
freuen
very
uns, dass
important
unser Circular
institutions.
Economy Accelerator
We are very
und
happy
das Global
to have
Entrepreneurship
our
Center
Circular
zusammenkommen.
Valley
Und deswegen bitte ich
Accelerator and the
Friedrich Barth,
Entrepreneurship
CEO vom
Center
Global
coming
Entrepreneurship Center,
together.
und Andreas Mucke,
And
Managing
that's why I'm
Director
very
vom
happy to
Circular
have
Economy
these
Accelerator
two
zu mir.
persons here.
Bitte was?
And I asked them to
Ich
join
muss
me
einmal
on
einen
stage.
weiterklicken.
I have
So,
to
genau. Wenn ihr
click
euch andersrum
once.
aufstellt, dann ist es
One
auch ganz
further,
richtig
and
fürs
if
Foto
you
nachher.
switch
Egal.
places,
Das
it's
Andreas
also
Mucke
correct for
und das
the
ist Friedrich Barth.
because never mind, it's Friedrich
So,
Barth and Andreas Mucke.
Es gibt unzählige
There are
Kollaborationen, die in
countless
diesem großen
collaborations
Circular Valley
within
wir
that
fördern wollen.
Circular Valley,
Aber die
which we
Zusammenarbeit
want to
mit dem
support.
Global
But
Entrepreneurship Center,
the collaboration with the Global Entrepreneurship Center is a very important part of it. Andreas Mucke, why is that attractive, and why are we so happy to have Friedrich Barth and his team on stage now? I think it's been very impressive to see that the goals of our circular economy can be reached if we all join forces and understand ourselves as part of the solution, collaborating with other players like the GEC, supporting startups. And within the next GEC phase are 2 Circular Valley startups, and we want to gain momentum together, and that's why I have good reasons to sign an agreement with you. Great. Dear Andreas Mucke, dear Mr. Barth, please, could you tell us what the Global Entrepreneurship Center does, not being far from here, and why does it match so perfectly our accelerator? First of all, thank you for welcoming us here, and I'm very happy to be here. We are collaborating very closely, even though we haven't signed it. And what do we do, actually? We are a small impact investor. We invest up until 200,000 euros in startups, having been assessed on under sustainable aspects, and we help them get to the next investment round. And what Circular Valley does matches us quite well because we have taken on board 2 startups. Because we start where Circular Valley ends, and startups where we say, okay, I think the Circular Valley program would be good for you, we send them back to you. Well, please, go ahead, take your pens and sign the collaboration agreement then. And our startup friends can maybe think about who would like to request a place in the next round.
Der Vorsitzende des Circular Valley Kuratoriums,
the president of our forum is also nodding along and happily. So again, another strong partner underlining what we can achieve together. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with you in the future. Thank you very much.
Ich hatte es gesagt, Sie haben 2 wunderschöne Filme von Studierenden
you saw 2 very nice movies of the University Department of Audiovisual Media. I'd like to ask Tim Müller, all the different students with their professor on stage, because they did a very nice work. And Mrs. von Möller, that was quite unexpected for us. How did you come up with the idea? We have students here, we want to do it, because we are infinitely grateful, because as a small accelerator, we couldn't afford to buy it. But how did you come up with supporting us? As Mr. Hase said it, I think within this room, circular economy is a very known concept. But for us, for our students, if I'd asked them before our seminar and workshop, they wouldn't have known it so well. And in order to bring a transformation into society, you need communication. And that's also something I'd like to stress, because all we have here is quite wonderful, but the communication and the way of communicating can be improved, and that's where we started thinking about how can we make circular economy understandable also for younger people. And we were also happy to have such a practice-oriented project, because such a hands-on project is always very nice for the students, not only doing projects within the university, keeping it internal, but having something that's being used in the external world. That's always wonderful. Yeah, we can only thank you. Say thank you very much for that.
damit sind wir auch durch. Ich würde zum einen die Kollegen und die Studierenden
how
auf
I'd
die Bühne
like
bitten,
to
einmal
conclude
zu
this
sehen,
event,
wer solche
welcoming
schönen
you all
Filme
on
macht. Wenn Sie für
stage,
Ihr
because all of the
Unternehmen auch mal
students,
was richtig
if
Kreatives
you
haben
as a
wollen,
company
kein
want to
Stockmaterial,
have
sondern
something
tolle
creative, not only
Kreativleistungen,
stock
dann sind es diese
material,
Damen und Herren,
then
die
it's
Sie gleich
these
beim
people
Buffet ansprechen
you
sollten.
can
Also
approach
bitte kommen
at
Sie
the
auf
buffet,
die
and
Bühne
so please
und
come up on
daneben
stage,
würde ich
you
schon
all,
mal, I would
and
ask, and besides that, I would like to ask our startups to also join us and take the certificates. Yep. So, unsere Startups kommen also auch auf die Bühne,
so our startups join
Teilnahme und
us,
erfolgreiche
they get their
Abschlusszertifikate.
participation and conclusion certificates.
So, und sparen Sie sich den Applaus einmal für
And
alle
please
auf,
spare your
bitte.
applause for all of them.
Und dann würde ich nämlich noch bitten, das
And,
wunderbare, fantastische Team
I'd also
von
like
Circular
to
Valley
welcome on
vom
stage the
Accelerator
fantastic
auch
team
noch.
of the
Dann
Circular Valley
sind wir
Accelerator.
gewissermaßen komplett.
Then we
Ich
are
entferne in der Zeit den Tisch.
then we are
So.
all gathered on stage as project team.
Das ist jetzt quasi wie das Foto der Abschlussklasse.
This is
von
like
Batch 4,
the
das wir hier machen.
final class picture
So, ihr stellt
that we
euch bitte
take
so auf, dass
of the
die Kleinen weiter vorne sind,
Circular Valley class.
dass jeder die Kamera sehen kann.
So please position yourself in a way that I
So.
can all see the camera.
Okay. Das ist der letzte Tagesordnungspunkt.
This is
Danach
really
kommt
the
dann nur
last
noch
topic on our
Essen und
agenda.
Trinken.
After that, only food and beverages will follow.
Wenn Sie uns noch die 30
If
Sekunden
you
geben, bis die
Give
Zertifikate
us the
richtig
last
verteilt sind.
30 seconds
Danach
to
wird's
hand
einfach,
out the
dann kommt nämlich nur noch
certificates.
unser
After
Team.
that,
Die kriegen
it's
keine
easy.
Zertifikate, die bekommen
Only
dann
our team
hoffentlich
follows. They
ihren
don't get any certificates,
Applaus und
but
Dank.
receive their applause
Ich
and
möchte an der
thank
Stelle
you.
schon mal Ihnen allen
And
ganz herzlich
I'd like to
danken, dass
thank
Sie
now
heute hier
all
sind,
of you
dass
for
ganz
your
viele von
presence,
Ihnen
for
aber auch
being
im
here,
Programm
and
uns
that
so wunderbar
a
unterstützt
lot of
haben. Ich
you
sehe zum
have
Beispiel
supported
Michael
us
Webeling von den Kalkwerken
with the
Uetelshofen.
program.
Kalk geht ja
I
in so viele
see the
Industrien rein,
Kalkwerke
beschäftigt sich mit so vielen Themen, lieber
Uetelshofen,
Michael. Wir
dear
hatten dich ganz
Michael,
oft zu Gast.
we
So,
have
und wir
had
stellen
you
euch
as
so
a
auf, dass
guest
tatsächlich
for
alle
a few
die Kamera
times.
sehen
And please
können.
position again yourselves in a way that you can all see the camera
Und
so that everyone is on the photo.
Und jetzt bitte einmal
now,
alle recht freundlich.
Smile,
Christian Herrendorf,
everybody.
unser
Christian
Medienchef,
Herrendorf,
bitte auch
our
ins
media.
Bild. Christa Mozek, unsere Mediendesignerin.
Christa Mozek, media designer
Einmal bitte
for
alle
us.
recht freundlich fürs
Please,
Foto.
everybody,
Und jetzt
smile.
danke ich Ihnen, wenn es Ihnen
And
gefallen
now,
hat, für
thank you very
dieses
much.
Team.
And if
Für einen
you
großen Applaus.
liked
Vielen
our
Dank.
event and our program and the ideas, give out this team warm applause. Thank you very much.
So. Wunderbar. Ich hoffe, wir haben nicht allzu viel überzogen. Danke Ihnen ganz herzlich. Ich hoffe, Sie laufen nicht weg.
I hope you don't run away now. If you have time,
Rossini.
please join us at the restaurant Rossini, where you left your coats.
Matching, von dem wir heute
Please
viel gehört haben, weiter betreiben. Lassen Sie
let
uns
us
jetzt
do
schauen,
the matching
wie wir aus
that
den
we
Ideen
had been
tatsächlich
talking so much
Geschäftsmodelle
about.
machen können und den
Let's
schlafenden
make
Riesen wecken.
use
An
of
der
the
Stelle nochmal ganz
ideas
herzlichen Dank an
we have
alle
heard
unsere
about, transform
Unterstützerfirmen, die
them,
Sie hier sehen,
make them
von
real,
den Stiftern über die Sponsoren bis hin zu den Förderern.
now all
Und
our
nochmal
sponsors,
Ihnen
Circular
allen
Valley
vielen Dank
founders, promoters and
und wir sehen
supporters
uns
are
im Rossini.
displayed
Bis
here.
gleich.
Thank you very much again. See you at the Rossini.